At 3 a.m., I received a text message from, not this morning, but the day before yesterday. Yes, ma'am. And one of her questions was, what did you all do in Philadelphia?
Oh, wow.
So,
yes, what did y'all do in Philadelphia?
and in speaking with her yesterday, my response was, when you pull the scalp off, so the pulse is not pretty. Someone had to remind me of that during the course of this week. I'm most appreciative of these reminders. Why? Because after what took place in Louisiana, that was one thing. But the straw that broke the camel's back was what took place in Minnesota. I have never felt the anger or experienced, maybe, well, actually, probably rage out when I watched the video. I received that video at 1 a.m. in the morning of what happened.
This is with Diamond and...
Yes, the one in Minnesota. I received it at 1 a.m. in the morning that it took place. And I refrained from calling some of the people with whom I worked back in the day. And finally, I broke down and called one, didn't get them. I called one of the other guys. We talked. And I was reminded that things have to play out. We opened the door, now we got to deal with what's coming out of the door. And I'm good now. But I wasn't at that point. I think I had to experience what I did in order to prepare me for what happened in Dallas. And by preparation, I mean I don't condone what happened, but I understand what happened. I do understand the reason it happened. I don't know the question that you may have, but I want to say again that while I don't condone it, I understand the reason. You know, and watching it while it was taking place, I was in text messages with one of my kids, and the thing, and my text message, she said, military? Of course it's military. From the way the guy was firing, that was obvious. Then one of my money says to me, Daddy, yesterday, she says, what took place in Minnesota had to take place. Because when you look at the other African American males who were killed, the only thing they pointed to was they had a record or they had a gun. Whether they used it or brandished the gun or not, that's the only thing they talked about. But this one didn't. No gun, except by lawfully carrying the gun with the gun permit. And no record. Did everything right. Got up every day and went to work, and still he got killed. He had to be killed because the message had to be sent that is not because of a record, it's because of the color of your skin, regardless of who you are. And the other part of it is that he worked at a Montessori school. And we know who goes to Montessori school, who can afford them. So that's kind of made it a bit different in that the message was being sent to us. It does not matter who you are. It does not matter about your what. Doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is the color of your skin, and you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And the wrong place at the wrong time is anywhere in America.
And the other thing about what happened in Minnesota is the young lady who was narrating right there while it was unfolding.
Yes.
It was just like it was antithetical, you know. Sir, you just, you know, so calm. Yeah. I know later on she broke down, but
at the moment
people saw that.
Yeah.
Sir, You just shot 4 bullets into my fiance. Sir, I mean, you know what I'm saying? She's trying to do what African Americans learn to do to be courteous, blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, it was just so unnerving
It,
to me
it was.
that she's doing that.
It was tears. This morning she said, well, I don't know what she said yesterday, but I heard it this morning as she spoke. She said, all I want is a public apology. That's all I want. A public apology. An apology doesn't mean that I don't feel justified. An apology simply means I'm sorry for what happened. That hasn't come. The calls that I got were, what do you think the policeman is thinking about now? I said, which one? What, both of them? What are they thinking about? The one in Louisiana and one in Minnesota. And my response to that was, they're not thinking about anything. The policemen's union is telling them what to say. I hear this talk about the overwhelming majority of policemen are good policemen. I don't care about that. The overwhelming majority of African Americans are good people. But that doesn't stop them from killing. It's the police culture that's the problem.
Yeah.
And it's a disrespect for our culture that's a problem. Disrespect for lives, disrespect for the culture, that's a problem. Always have been, but it will not always be. There is a police culture of the plantation overseer. That's the culture in the police department. And the overseer is not riding the plantation because he's protecting those who work on the plantation. He's riding the plantation to make sure that they don't escape and that he is extremely brutal every chance he gets in order to keep them in line. That's the attitude of the police culture in America. And if Dallas had not taken place, we would not be on the verge of having a real dialogue about race in this country.
We always say that.
But this is different.
Very different.
Of what the day it happened, after I watched the video, everyone who called me, I told them the same thing. This is different. It feels different. It does not feel like the rest of the things that took place. This one is different because not only did it have a narrator, but you have a 4-year-old child saying, I'm with you, it's going to be okay. You have a man who did everything right and still got killed because of his skin color, period. Don't tell me he matched the identity of someone who committed a robbery earlier. If that is the case, then why did you go to the car and expose yourself? Why would you put yourself in a position to be shot? Because he was standing right in front of the driver's window. If there was a suspicion that he's dangerous and armed, you wait for backup, you tell him to exit the vehicle from behind your vehicle. You do not approach that vehicle. Think about this. And this is what has haunted me since I watched that video. A white male with a permit to carry, pulled over by a policeman, tells the policeman, I have a permit to carry. I am armed. Policeman says, give me your ID. He goes for his ID, the policeman shoots him. What do you think will happen had he been white?
Big lawsuits, jail time.
No, ma'am. I'm worse than that. he would be a poster child for the National Rifle Association
If he'd been.
if he had been white, because he had a permit to carry
Yeah.
and he got shot. You see what I'm
It's
talking
true,
about?
the NRA would be involved.
The NRA would be involved big time. Look at what happened in Dallas. This guy carrying a weapon, AR-15, not loaded, helping the police keep the march in check, and as soon as the shots ring out, his face is plastered all over the TV. Had nothing to do with it. It took until yesterday for the police to take him off the website as a person of interest. The right to carry is for white only. If that had been a white male, and they talk about the camouflage and the AR-15 is what made him do it, most of the white males who carry got camouflage on. Nobody approaches them. They don't even ask them to produce a permit. So, what am I saying? I am saying that, yes, the scab has been pulled off racism big time. And
This is just the pus flowing out.
this is the pulse flowing out. And it doesn't look good, it doesn't feel good. But it's happening. Janice, I think you made reference to something last week about a movie, something that you,
The Fifth Element, yeah.
would you repeat that? Because I don't, everybody may not be on.
It's a science fiction movie, and the plot is based around a ball of evil that's approaching the Earth, and the governments on Earth get together and attempt to shoot it out of the sky. And each time they send in a weapon, the ball grows. They send in nukes, and the ball swallows them, you know, the most powerful weapons they have. And it turns out that at the end of the story, it's the love of two people coming together that form the weapon that ends the evil threat.
The masculine and the feminine.
Masculine and feminine, yeah.
Now, when we look at that, what do we see? It does not matter what kind of weapon that's used against darkness. It only feeds it. Because evil feeds evil. That's it. It does not matter how many Dallases we have. Yes, it does bring the attention, but it's not going to end it. The only thing that's going to end it is love and kindness. Bottom line. I was talking with Kathy, and she said, you know, we the whole time we were in Philly, before we went, and since we've been back, all we've been talking about is love and kindness. And look what we get as a result. This is not the result of it in terms of the end game. This is the result that ends in a different way than it has ended in the past. Slavery has never ended in this country. It changed forms, but it didn't end. And we have a golden opportunity to bring it to an end. One of the talk show hosts, Walsh, W-A-L, Walsh, John Walsh, says that Obama, look out, Black Lives Matter, look out, the real Americans are coming after you. Who was he talking to and what was he talking about? That's a dog person that's very, very loud. That's saying attack the president is not off limits. And attack anyone who believes that Black Lives Matters. I don't want to hear the BS about all lives matters. We are very much aware of that. But no one is treating white people like their lives don't matter. We can talk about the African and the Hispanic all you want. Hispanics are not being killed at the rate that we are. They're not being killed the way that we are. They're not being treated the way that we are. say what you will of me about the Hispanics. They do not, no one on earth experience what we experience, except those who may be in the Middle East in relationship to Israel and the Palestinians. We in this country, no one in this country experience what we experience. Tomorrow, I have to talk to the kids. What do I tell my kids? What do I tell them? We've said to the children, I said to my kids, please pull you over, drive to a well-lit area, put your hands on the steering wheel. Since cell phones, I said to them, please pull you over, call 911, tell them that you're being pulled over, let them tell the policeman that you drive into a well-lit area. When they pull you up, put your hands on the steering wheel, do not make any quick motions. Be respectful. We'll deal with the rest. But make sure if 911 hangs up, you call somebody so that someone else can be a witness to what's going on. All of these things, and I can go on and on. Why is it that we have to tell every generation to fear the police? Because that's exactly what they're being taught. This lady sits there and she's so afraid of being killed herself. Look at how she had to deal with, she had to, Master, basically is what she was saying. It's okay, Master. You shot him, but okay, I'm going to do what you say. That's basically what she was saying. Why is it that we have to do this with every single generation? At some point, it has to be an end to this. You do everything right and you still gonna get killed. Yeah. What do I tell them? You know, going to a well-lit area, hands on the steering wheel, obeying the instructions. You stand in front of a store with permission. The man, you joking with the guy who owns the store. Everyone knows you. A homeless man makes a phone call because he got pissed off with you. And the police comes and they shoot you while you're on the ground. They're holding you down and they shoot you and they are on paid leave as opposed to being arrested. Look how quick they arrested the policeman in South Carolina when the video was released. Look how quick they arrested him. The police talk about we are disrespected. If you think you're disrespected, find another job. You don't get paid to be respected. You get paid to do a job. All of us at some point on our jobs are disrespected, are we not?
Yes. The other thing too is that when you are approached out of the blue, your first reaction is to, to back off and say, let's, to struggle. What are you doing? That's what he was doing. That's his first, they approached him out of the blue. And so, I guess what I'm trying to say, he doesn't even get any credit for being human, doing the human thing.
Well, absolutely not. Not even now. Because all the things they talk about are the policemen who were killed in Dallas. That was horrific. But so was the other two horrific. Well, all the rest of them were horrific. But the media outlets and those colored folk who are working with them are saying is Black lives do not really matter. The only thing that matters is a life if you're in a blue uniform. But that blue uniform gives you permission to kill anybody you want to. Look at the white kid in California. Oh my God. I can't think, what's the city in California? He was on the ground in a prone position and they shot him. I think 14 times. I mean, come on. What does it end? What is it? If we don't deal with it from a spiritual perspective, it ends in another civil war. But not the way the last one was. And we cannot afford to let that happen. There are no winners.
There are I think there was a headline, it might have been the New York Post, about Civil War, and there were complaints online about how irresponsible that was to post that kind of headline, which makes me wonder if there aren't people who want a race war.
There are people who want a race war. There's no question about it. The Make America Great Again folk want a race war. John Walsh want a race war. Coming after you? I found out something last night. I was talking to Clark. I wanted to know why she was so angry. She said to me something I never heard before. She said she was riding with Nick, she and Jaden. Nick got pulled over for speeding. She was eating raisins. And the police put his hand on his gun and started pulling it out of his holster saying, "Stop moving." Nick pushed her back in the seat, snatched the razor out of her hand, and threw him in the back, threw him in the car. She was 7 years old. I didn't know that. And I'm glad I didn't know it when she was 7 years old. Because had I known it when she was 7 years old, I was not feeling the way I feel now. And the way I felt then, I felt exactly like the guy felt in Dallas. So I'm glad I didn't know it. And why I've moved to a place to understand that violence begets violence. But at some point, people get tired of being pushed. And white people don't get it.
Some of them do.
I'm talking about the ones in authority.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get it. They don't care. That's why they don't get it. They don't care. No one stops to ask, let's talk about this. Newt Gingrich made a statement. He said that the normal white American do not have a clue as to what it means to be black in America. He said it took me a long time to get it.
Wow.
But listening to people over time, I got it. This is the statement that he made.
Unbelievable.
I don't know whether he made it because he wanted to be a vice president. I don't care the reason he made it. What I care about are the words he spoke, because words carry power, especially coming from influential people. Whether he meant it or not, it caused me to pause. So I'm sure it caused not just me, but other white people to pause also. To say, what are we doing here? The governor of Minnesota says, if he had been white, he would still have been alive. That's the truth. And now everyone's upset with him because he told the truth. That is the truth. Everyone can get before a camera and talk about the policemen and their family. What about the families of the ones who the police killed? Evan?
I was going to say the universe gives us what we put out there. And what they fail to realize, you have children too. And it's going to get ugly before it gets better. And I feel, honestly, I feel sorry for them. Because they're going to feel it.
I'm waiting for Obama to be blamed. When he said Black Lives Matter the other day, I'm waiting for the blame to come. And see, the most ignorant thing that I've heard is that, yeah, Blue Lives Matter. Of course they do. No one said they don't. No one said they don't. Do I feel pain for the families of those policemen who were killed and shot? Of course I do. Of course I do. Do I believe that all those policemen who were shot had that police culture mentality? No, I don't. I don't think that all of them had the police culture mentality. I don't. But guess what? They died because of that culture mentality. No one ever challenges the police. When the Attorney General in Minnesota says it's such a high bar to prosecute a policeman for shooting someone, we're not sure whether we can get a charge, bring a charge, because it's such a high bar. When you hear that it's been 40 years since a policeman has been brought up on charges in Texas for doing anything, for shooting anyone.
Wow.
When you look at a hand-picked judge in Baltimore exonerating policeman after policeman after policeman, knowing that this was a homicide. And honestly, I may be wrong, but I believe in my heart of hearts that the prosecutor charged them with the wrong crime. She brought the wrong charges on purpose.
The African American?
Yes, ma'am.
On that note, I watched something yesterday where she's an ex-prosecutor. She was a black lady. She was just fed up. She was saying she wishes she could just pack up her family and leave the United States. But she was saying she got out of law for that reason. She said, because she was talking about the way how they go and to do the indictment, that the prosecution is the only one that can speak and represent. So it's how he or she presents the case. That's the only person that the judge gets to listen to. That the defense can't present a case or anything, and that's the only person can talk. So it's already rigged, so you present your case in the way that you want it to be presented, where we get thrown out. And she said that's how the system is set up.
That's in a grand jury.
Yeah, the grand jury hearings.
That's grand
She
jury.
said most of them, when it comes to, that's why they'll bring in requests that it goes to the grand jury so they can get it thrown out, so it'll never reach the court of law.
Well, I'm talking about it being in the court of law. And the judge, African-American judge, African-American prosecutor, it doesn't matter. It's the system. That's what we don't seem to be getting. It's the system. The plantation has always had overseers who are the same color as we are. It's the system. The ones who are the same color we are, who were on the plantation, were just as brutal, if not more brutal, than the ones who own the slaves. It's the system that we have to deal with. The system is the same system that was intact 200 years ago. The system hasn't changed. We think because we could live in a gated community, buy a house, have 2 or 3 cars, a nice bank account, that something has changed. No. This man is a supervisor at a school, at a Montessori school, cafeteria supervisor. Kids love him to no end. Parents adore him. And he legally carrying a weapon, and he's dead. In front of a 4-year-old. That is indelibly imprinted in her consciousness.
Yes.
How can she not relive that over and over and over? How can Diamond not experience that over and over? So what happens the next time she gets pulled over by police? What happens with this 4-year-old growing up with that in her mind? What is her attitude towards the police? When it comes to Africans in America, the policemen are not to protect. They do not protect and serve. They harass and arrest. In the white community, they protect and serve. That must change. Why am I saying all that I'm saying? Because if we don't get it out there, it will never be dealt with. It has to be dealt with in a proper manner. And the proper manner to deal with it is the same way we have dealt with everything else. Our energy must diffuse the energy of darkness by infusing it with light. Love covers a multitude of sins. That must be our mantra. Any questions?
And y'all were just in Philly, which is the city, city of
City.
brother-in-law,
Yes.
or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments? Elvin said, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry too for them not being able to get it. I really do. But I also feel sorry for those who have to suffer through it. The families on both sides of the issue.
But we're feeling it as well, the impact of it.
This is what I wish I were articulate enough to convey to everyone. The feeling that the African in America is experiencing now is a deeper pain than the experiencing of a close family member just dying of natural causes. If I had to label it, it would be there is a mixture of anger and fear. Not angry at any individual, but angry at a system that allows this to happen continuously. Angry because there seems to be no hope. Angry because African lives don't matter. Fearful because we know that it can happen to any one of us at any time.
Audrey has a question.
Go ahead. Audrey,
We can't hear you.
we can't hear you.
Hold on.
Is your,
No, not yet. The television's not muted.
is your mic muted?
Yours.
Audrey,
Oh,
unmute your mic.
no, nothing yet. You may have to unplug your headphones or look for a little blue microphone on the screen that might have a line through it. No, nothing yet.
While we're waiting on her, Pastor,
Uh-huh.
but I noticed you got all these people, the rich African Americans, now they're coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got
Oh yeah.
the ones
Oh,
now, it's just like it's in your face.
Yeah.
It can happen to you just like it happened to him.
Yeah. You go ahead, Audrey. Damn thing about you.
Yeah, we still can't hear you. I wonder what's going on.
Why don't you hang up and call back? Can you?
Audrey, we're gonna call you right back, okay?
But you have to call us, because I don't think we have her number.
We do.
We do? Okay.
So Skype has sound. Really? Okay. Great. They're not saved. But
Yes, sir.
okay, we can hear you even though we can't see you.
Hello,
Yeah, all right. Hi, there we
You're
go.
good now.
can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Okay. I was going to add to what you were saying about what feeling is. I mean, for me, and I almost can't even put it into words, so I understand what you mean about not being able to articulate it, but it's not only anger and fear, it's bewilderment, it's disillusionment. I mean, it's a little bit of hopelessness. But then when you think about it, it's because we put our trust in. We've been taught to put our trust in the system. And when the system doesn't work for us, then yes, there's anger, there's bewilderment, there's disillusionment. So I guess we have to back off and realize that we can't trust the system. All we can trust is ourselves and who we are and the Creator. Because the system won't necessarily do it for us. And in fact, it has never done it for us.
You're right. You're
That's
right.
it.
I was thinking this morning that I asked him, the Creator, do we need to come together to deal with this? And when I spoke with Kathy this morning, she made the statement she did. She also said, maybe we need to come together to deal with this too. So I don't know when, I don't know how, but at some point we do need to, I believe, come face to face with this. I spoke with the mayor yesterday in Union, and I told him, don't think that Union is too small to experience this, because the town of Minnesota is also small. There needs to be a conversation, and the conversation cannot be with the pseudo African leadership. It has to be with real leadership, real people. Not people who seek in publicity, not people who play games with the system. Jesse shows up in Minnesota and speaks. Al goes to Louisiana. When I was talking to my friends, one of the things I was involved in was logistics. My suggestion would be put 10,000 people on the bridge in New York at rush hour. Go to major cities and put 10,000 people on major arteries at rush hour. On Saturdays, put 10,000 people in the way of shopping centers. Because the only thing they understand is money. The only thing that broke the bus situation in Alabama was the boycott. It was money. White people in authority do not listen to anyone unless money is involved. That's if I were going to deal with it from the ground perspective. Do I think that it will change? No. But I do think that if we, from a spiritual perspective, don't deal with it, it will be swept under the rug for 3 or 4 more years after this dialogue, so-called dialogue, is done. And it will be right back where we started. This has to, if we believe what we say we believe, and I know we do, if we can deal with a storm in the natural arena, we certainly can deal with the storm in the spiritual arena. And damn it, I'm doggone it, this is a storm that needs to be dealt with.
I read a comment in the New York Times, and the writer identified himself as white. Of course, you can't tell because it's the internet. But he said he understood why it happened, even though he didn't necessarily agree with it. And how long were black people supposed to march and grieve quietly and respectfully while they were being killed?
And that,
And I'm like, and I'm wrestling with that
guess what?
because I know that the men who were killed were innocent, at least of what the killer, the shooter, was angry about. I don't know. It's just, it's, you know.
Let me address that. First of all, you are in the quandary that you are because you're African. It happening doesn't make it right. The other thing, the statement from the New York Times, the same statement that was in the 60s. That's one of the reasons that Rap Brown and Stokely could not deal with Martin Luther King. That's one of the reasons I couldn't march with Martin Luther King. Though we did it a couple of times as a child, older couldn't do it. You're gonna spit on me. You're not gonna spit on me, and I'm not gonna knock the hell out you.
Mm-hmm.
That was my attitude.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, because we were, you respect me, I'll respect you. You disrespect me, we go, hey, bring it. We did what we did, knowing that we could be killed at any moment. Why is it that a militia can lay on a bridge, aim firearms at federal officials, and nothing happens, and a black man can't drive down the road in a car? Or he can't stand on the street corner and talk unless he's killed.
NRA has so much to say about self-protection and standing your ground and protecting your home and your family and all of that. Like you said, it's all well and good unless
Unless you're
you're a
black.
black person.
Look what happened in Florida with standing your ground. The black woman goes to jail. And the only time that the case got heard again was after Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin. She got 9 years in jail for standing her ground when she shot her abusive husband. I mean, you see what I'm talking about? The guns, standing your ground, self-defense, is not going to change anything. It just exacerbates it. When I said at the onset that I feel like this would bring about a dialogue, I'm not talking about the dialogue that has been entered into in the past. Because that always has been a sham. I'm not talking about that. See, the powers that be, they are not going to let this die that happened to the policeman. But you cannot keep alive what happened to the policeman without keeping alive the reason it happened. You see what I'm talking about? And I pray that no one takes this the wrong way, but if the policeman had not been shot, 2 weeks from now, we wouldn't be talking about these black men who were shot. Because the system takes it off the front page. And the thing that gets me is that the angriest group now, they're not people my age. They're not people your age, Janice. They're younger. And they're on social media. And they're angry as hell.
Oh, yeah.
And if you browse social media and see what's happening, this lady posted in Union, she posted something saying that Sterling was a criminal and he got what he deserved, basically what she said. She made one mistake. She said, okay. And social media lit up. And all of them began posting about her. And now her business is gone. Overnight. You see what I'm talking about? These kids are the ones who keep it alive.
Yeah, they're not lying down. They're not.
No. And I've said in the past, my fear has always been, since the Iraq War started, my fear has been that you have a different generation going to war. And they have a different mentality than we had. And I am afraid that things will be different than what they were when we were those ages. And lo and behold, look at what happened. My prayer, my desire is that it doesn't have to happen again. That it doesn't happen again. That this is the straw that broke the camel's back. That it opened up enough so we can deal with it without lives having to be lost, families having to grieve, a whole race of people having to live in subjective fear. Not knowing whether you're coming home or not.
So don't we have to make sure all the posts is out of the sore before?
The scab is off. The pulse is
Okay.
running out. The universe, that's up to the universe. That's not our call.
Okay.
I was talking to this young man who was saying to me that he believed the only reason he does not get harassed when he works late at night is because he wears a uniform for the company he works for. And I said to him that most of the time, one of the reasons, if I'm going to be out late at night, I drive one of the vehicles with the veterans have, because it gives me an edge. They're less likely to harass me. They're less likely to pull me over, and if they do, they'll respect me. And I have experienced it. Hell, I'm 65 years old. And I have experienced the difference when I'm in the Mercury, which doesn't have the tag, and when I'm in the other two that have the license plate. But I've experienced the difference in them. So if I'm going to be out late at night, I don't drive the Mercury. Very rarely I would drive it because of that. Because I have been harassed. I don't know any African male who hasn't, at some point in their life, been harassed. And that's a shame. I honestly don't. We started it. We got to finish it. The desire to expose the underbelly of racism. Is that not what we did?
Yes.
And the whole time being in Philly, feeling disjointed, and not being able to understand why we never felt disjointed before. Never. Even from the first time we came together, never felt disjointed. But what we were experiencing was a division, a deep public division in the races in this country. I do believe that that's what we're experiencing. That was the pain that we felt. When we can deal with and bring to resolution this problem of racism, the Hispanics and nobody else have any problems. Because the divide is not between the Hispanics and the white people, it's between the black folk and the white folk. That's the divide, isn't it?
Yeah.
That chasm has to be bridged. That the wave, well, it doesn't have to be bridged because the bridge can be torn down. There has to be a sense of unicity. A respect from both sides, regardless of what's being said. You cannot develop a sense of disrespect for anyone based upon what they say or what they do. Because the moment you do that, you cease to be their covering. Love covers a multitude of sin. God is love. Elohim is love. If we truly believe that, then we become the covering, not for love. Love doesn't have to cover love. We become the covering for everything that's dark. We become the force that has to be reckoned with so that we can bring some resolution. Our covering, and we must recognize this, it's the universe. It's the Creator. That's our covering. And love does not seek love. It just loves without regard to an expression of the lack of love or caring. No one said that it's going to be easy. Love and kindness. You don't know what love and kindness is until you're faced with something that cuts you and then pours salt in the wound. You don't know what it is to experience love and kindness until you feel a sense of anger or sense of rage that you have to deal with. You have to purge it. Then have the same courage that Diamond expressed when she said, all I want is an apology. The same courage that was expressed by the families of the people killed in Charleston. Because the same anger killed them. The same darkness killed them. The Fifth Element is not a science fiction movie. The Fifth Element is real. I've not seen it. But based on Janice's description, it's not science fiction. It's real. And until until the feminine and masculine energy deals with it in a respectful way, it won't be done.
Pastor, we always say that we forgive people. We always say, I forgive you. But when are they, or I don't know if we deserve to be forgiven, or when are they going to say, forgive us?
They don't have to.
I mean, because...
I know what you're saying. They don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't have to. Love covers a multitude of entanglements. You don't give to people because you want to receive from them. You don't forgive people because you want them to acknowledge it. If they acknowledge it simply because that's your desire, they haven't done it anyway.
Well, I don't want it that way.
Let me finish. Bill Clinton supposedly asked for forgiveness for slavery. But look what he did. Out of his mouth, those words came, but look what he did legislatively. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When do they do that? It's not up to us. It's up to the universe and them. And I don't like using the term them because they are us and we are them. And the them speaks to the divide that we see manifested in this realm. The divide between the life, the tree of life, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I don't like to use them because the overwhelming majority, that's not who they are. That's not who they are. Feel like that because the racists speak really loud, and we have a tendency to hear the negative versus the positive. We hear it. We have a tendency to experience the negative at a deeper level than we embrace the positive because we lived it for so long. But at some point, this has to change also. So when the Creator forgives us, does the Creator say when they go say, ask for forgiveness? No, it just happens. There is nothing, there is no experience that any race or any man has that the other race or everyone does not have the capacity to experience. Every one of us has the capacity to experience this pain. And there are some white people who hurt.
Yes, I know.
I mean, when you look at the march in New York, when you look at even the march in Dallas, when you look at Phoenix, when you look at, you see, yes, we hurt. Yes, white people. The difference is that they can drive down the street with impunity when they leave their march. The thing that has to change is the attitude of us and them, because that's the police attitude. Us and them. The world is against us. And the world of which they speak is the world where Africans live in America. There was a song back in the day, and part of the lyrics was, the world is a ghetto. You remember that song?
Done that the way?
Yeah, the world is a ghetto. It has new meaning to me. The world is the ghetto, meaning that no matter where you live, if you are African, you're in the ghetto. Because the ghetto is not just a mentality of how you live your life. Ghetto is also how the system treats you. How do we experience a manifested change? If I were engaged in dialogue with those who have the power to bring about change, but don't have the intestinal fortitude to follow through. If I were engaged in dialogue with them, my conversation would not hinge on how you feel about me or how I feel about you. My conversation would hinge on the idea of employment.
The what?
Employment. A manifested change comes when we begin to see a genuine effort to cease gentrification, but increase employment opportunities in the areas that have been robbed of employment opportunities. It changes the nature of the community. It eases the frustration in the community. The other thing that I would deal with is community-based policing. Policemen must be held accountable for their actions. When a union rep has more power than a judge, something wrong. The union reps are the ones who perpetuate this culture that's killing us. It's the union reps. When good policemen stand up against bad policing, they lose their job. They are sent into dire situations and left out there hanging. You can do the research and you can find it where policemen have lost their jobs because they have reported incidents of assault by policemen. Policemen must be held accountable. And cameras are not going to do it. We've seen it. Video is not going to do it. So what are the chances of 2 body cams falling off both policemen in Louisiana, so that there's no body cam evidence? What are the chances of that?
What does it matter if the prosecutor is not going to bring a
That's
case?
my point.
All the evidence in the world, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It really. But that would be part of my dialogue. These are the things that must be addressed. Praying for it ain't gonna change nothing. If praying were gonna change anything, we would be the freest people on earth. Pray for the families. Okay. How many times have we done that? When you allow people like Walsh to threaten the life of the president and to threaten mass murder, and nothing happens to him, something is wrong with that picture.
Oh, yeah.
And he comes back and says, that's not what I meant. Are you kidding me? That's specifically what you said. You do it. And see how quick the Secret Service comes to you. These are the things that has to be addressed. And in order for them to be addressed, there has to be a willingness. And I think that we have the spiritual influence to make it a reality. I believe that. I believe that we have the influence to make it a reality. In terms of the teachers coming together, in the event that we are to do that, and I'm not saying we are because I'm not sure yet, it will probably be the first part of August. And when I say I'm not sure yet, doesn't mean that other teachers don't express how they feel. What do they feel about it? Because I cannot say on the basis of what I think. It must be on the basis of an experience connection, a oneness with the Creator. It has to be on those bases. All the other times that I have expressed our need for us to do things, to come together, it has been because of that oneness that I've experienced with the Father that brings us to this place of need. I hope that those who may listen to this will have listened to all of them up to this point, at least because America, ruler of labor. America is at a critical point. And how these things are resolved or dealt with is going to determine the future of this nation. I don't believe that we have been given the authority that we experience without the Creator knowing that it's time for us or there would be a time rather for us to deal with it. You remember before we went to Philly, I talked about how we're going to have to stop asking me to do what I do and you do it yourself. Remember that? I believe that that's part of the feeling of being disjointed too. That wherever we are, all of us are there at the same time. We're in a place where we have to embrace that we are Elohim in a real way. Not just lip service. And I've talked about this recently. Not just lip service, but in our actions. The only way that the tree of knowledge of good and evil is transformed into a tree of life is for us to experience the anger, the rage, and overriding of love and kindness. For us to experience a desire to quote unquote do something, but override it with love and kindness. We have to realize that as Jesus was in his day, as Muhammad was in his day, as Buddha was in his day, so are we today. This is our today. This is the greatest challenge that we have faced up to this day. The people who were killed, the policemen as well as those who policemen have killed, were released from this grave called a body. We do not have a right to hold on to animosity. We don't have a right to be angry with those who are perpetuating this system unless the anger pushes us to do righteous things, to have righteous thoughts, to always walk in forgiveness so that evilness can always be in the shadow of forgiveness with the opportunity to be changed. This is a pivotal point for all who travel this journey, for all who embrace the idea, the concept of being Elohim. It's not coincidental that the AMEs are in Philadelphia for their 200th convention this week, the week that just passed. That's not a coincidence. When I think about how those who fought so vehemently against slavery, most of those, like Denmark, Bishop Robert Small, they ended up where? They were AMEs in Philadelphia. You see what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
They were AMEs. I'm not pushing a denomination above another one, but I'm talking about the energy flow. That's what I'm talking about. It is no coincidence that the Democratic Convention starts in Philly. What, next week, I think. It's no coincidence that we were in Philly. It's no coincidence. So what do? We embrace like never before. What we are. The pain that I had when I came, the mixed emotions that I was experiencing then, anger, whatever, it's not there anymore. It's not there anymore. It's funny how you can feel for the policeman, but at the same time, understand why. Our why cannot be. The answer to why cannot be because people get tired. And when they're pushed in the corner, they don't respond to react. That cannot be the answer to our why. The answer to our why has to be because it is time for light to prevail. It had to take place to bring to the surface the ugliness, the unrighteousness, the evilness of racism. Many years ago, I began saying this, and I constantly say it. As long as racism is seen as a political belief, or as long as it is embraced as being political, nothing will ever change. But when you see racism as a spiritual event, that's when it begins to change. If we base our response to this on the manifestation of racism, then we are simply answering an earthly manifestation with an earthly manifestation. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
Our response has to be beyond a simple physical response. A march in the street, an argument, speaking out on social media. Our response, our overarching response, has to take into account that the policeman who killed those two people last week are living in fear also. It has always been the Caucasian who's in authority. It's always been his way. If you're afraid of it, kill it. If you don't understand it, kill it. Those policemen need our love, our kindness, far more than those who were killed. Their families need us. We were brought to this country for such a time as this. And we were freed last week for such a time as this. I think it was last week or the week before that when you talked about the thing that you caught with the curator. We were enslaved people. Freed us for such a time as this. There are no limitations. The limitations were verbally upon us by virtue of saying slaves. We were slaves. But enslaved people freed us. So now the shackles, the bondage is over. It's over. Truth molds you into a free spirit. Know the truth, experience the truth, and the truth will make you free. It doesn't say that. It's the greater say make. Same word that's used there for make. It's also a word used for create. Truth creates freedom. But it doesn't create freedom just for those who know the truth. It creates freedom for everyone. That's who we are. We are creators of light for everyone. Just like anyone who walks in this room who is in total disagreement with everything that we say, that light doesn't go out, does it? It stays on. So it doesn't matter whose company you're in. You have to be who you are. It doesn't matter what happens, what transpires. We have to be who we are. Do we go through the valley of the shadow of death? Yes, we do. And that valley of the shadow of death is flirting with the belief that there is a separation between us and the Creator. What am I saying? The feeling of hopelessness is another way of saying, where are you, God? The sense of despair is experiencing abandonment. But you promised to be with us always. Where are you? We cannot allow despair and hopelessness and fear and anger and all the other feelings to overtake us or even to find a home in us for any amount of time. We can't afford that. We have to rise above it. Any questions? You understand? I don't have a sense that I'm rambling, but I do have a sense that the disparity has been remedied now. And from the time that, not that we leave this place, but the words that we've heard, we must increase our desire to be expressive of loving kindness without regard to incidents or anything else. That's who we are. That's who we are. That's who we are. Comments, questions? Not? I'm done.
This is Rayla. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I was talking to my brother last night, who's in Houston, and one of the things we were talking about was, things went south in the world. We want to be home, like we want to be in South Carolina. And the conclusion we also both came to is we're here where we are because that's where we need to be. And it's kind of something you mentioned as you were talking. Just the covering of the universe. So even Barrett Gibson, he didn't even cover.
Yeah. And that's the macro that we speak stuff so often. I mean, think about it. What did Rainier just say? The whole world's going south. Listen to that term.
Mm-hmm.
When things go south, that means that it went terribly wrong, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the term that we use. So it's no wonder that we are in the South. So when things go south, we can fix it. We can fix it. We are simply manifestations of truth. That's who we are. It's funny how you can be a manifestation of something that you cannot articulate and don't even desire to. It's funny how you can be the change and not even understand how the change is taking place and what is it going to look like. It doesn't matter. As long as it's light. The results in the fifth element was enlightenment, right, James? Enlightenment for all. Okay.
That's it.
Hello? Darkness can't be destroyed with weapons. Okay, I'm done.